Yeah, so in the interest of being honest about when things are tough or when things don't go exactly well, I thought I would try and show some of the. Well, I thought I'd try and fix some of the difficulty here and show you. Yeah, show some. Yeah, not try and present some of the difficulty. Try and present some of the problems. In other words, try and present what I do when things aren't working. These last two panels, Korr about to hurl the spear here, and the hunters running here. Both of these, especially the hunters, the Korr image, that's fine. It's really just the arm. It's really just the outstretched arm here. You can see that the proportions were off, so I have to fix that. But the hunters running has really been, this has really been tough. And, I don't want to exaggerate. I really had trouble getting it to work. And I think that's probably because it's very dynamic. These are very dynamic figures, and they are in a relatively thin panel. They don't have a lot of room to breathe on the panel that they're in. They're going to be cut off. You're not going to see all of them. And so in general, I don't like to depart, and I don't really think this departs that much from the pencils. I really don't like working that much on the computer. But here I'm kind of doing it because the situation is the figures are in this rather small space, and I find myself trying to draw within that space, and it doesn't really work. This thing happens where you halt, or you stop the pen stroke, you stop the pencil stroke at the edge of the panel, at the edge of the limitations that you have. And the figures just don't. Yeah, the figures don't work. So what I find is a pretty good. So one of the remedies for that is just in this case, just to draw beyond. I'm drawing beyond the panel. They'll be cut off. They'll be the gutter or the panel side. The panels will contain them. You won't see all of this image, but if you expand, if you draw, it's hard to get the feeling of motion a lot of times. I think if you're not drawing a lot of the figure, or at least a significant amount of the figure, if you're, when it's cramped, when you're trying to draw in this relatively small space, it just doesn't work. But more to the point, let me just say honestly, one of the best ways to fix drawings, and this is I don't know, maybe this is one of the kind of goofy secrets of drawing, but one of the things I've really discovered is you don't know what something is going to look like until you look at it. You think you know how a drawing, a painting, a sculpture is going to look. Yeah, because after all, you're picturing it in your head. That's understandable, sure. But honestly, you really don't know how it's going to look until you make it, and then you can look at it. And so what that comes down to a lot of times in drawing is that it's better to make like a million marks. It's better to make, just at least for me, but I think for a lot of people, it's really good to keep a very sketchy, a very loose line, to keep everything very rough, because then you can see the lines that work, you can see what's working, what's not, and you can take away what's not working. So, yeah, I find it to be a pretty good approach. And honestly, intuitively, it really makes sense. You just really, it's just very basic. You don't know what something is going to look like until you're actually looking like it. And so with art, with drawing, painting, sculpture, these things, you actually got to draw these things. You actually have to draw them to see them. So what I'm doing here is I'm just illustrating, this is another pass at this panel, these figures, and I'll come back and take a look at it later. Here I'm just trying to see what kind of basic things can work. And decide what I'm going to keep and what I'm not going to keep. So This arm is freakishly messed up, although I kind of like the figure in front of this guy's arm. Yeah, so we're gonna have to do something about this arm. And this is yet another sort of problem. Because after all, you've got multiple figures on this page. And yeah, you have to figure out what to do with all of them, how to have them appear dynamic and interesting, and have them all work together as a piece. Right, so this is still pretty rough, but yeah, it's definitely coming along. I'll come back and work on that. For the moment, I'm relatively happy with that, and I think it'll probably, well, shading it is actually going to help a lot. Right? The shadows, laying down the shadows of these figures, even if it's very rough here. You can get more of the feeling of these figures having mass, of where the weight is going. All of this is to the good. And I don't really mind this particular panel, this particular image being pretty sketchy, pretty loose. The main thing is to capture the dynamism, the feeling of motion that you have going on here. So that's the primary concern, at least for now. Yeah, so I think this is coming along. I think this looks promising. Then I'll move down to this. This is really just much more straightforward. Make sure I got the right layer. Just the arm was too short. The arm in front here looked ridiculously short and stubby. So I'm just going to address that. If I can figure out why. There we go. Yeah. So this really isn't changing much. It's still the same as it was before. By the way, a lot of goofy. There's a lot of goofy posing for this and that. A lot of looking at my hands, a lot of holding my arms up, which I know sounds ridiculous, but even if you do it yourself, you can get a better idea of what. Obviously, it'd be ideal to have someone else doing it. Obviously, it'd be ideal to have someone else to look at, but a lot of times, for obvious reasons, you don't have that. So a lot of times I'll find myself raising my arms, posing, especially arms and hands, right? Actually doing the hand gestures, actually doing what the character is going to be doing, and still pretty tough. Getting the proportion here. It's gonna be. I should probably see. I'm trying to make it work before I'm breaking my own rule. So I'm trying to make it work before I actually get it down and I can look at it. So I'm trying to stop breaking that rule. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is just go down and make this. Still too heavy, I think. So we're just going to go pretty, so that's much better. Sorry, I don't mean to sound so excited about that, but we're just going to go with pretty light, very light and very sketchy here at this. So get an idea if the proportion is right. Because again, just really, you can't tell until you look at it. So I think that looks decentish. That looks okay. Maybe. This is a pretty difficult pose. This is pretty. I still think the stupid hand looks too large. Although I don't know. That's really a good question. Rodin, famous French sculptor, the hands are really large, and so the hands are really expressive. It can really work. It can really be. For Rodin, the hands and the feet are really, really pretty gigantic, which is kind of fascinating. That's another thing about art. I mean, a lot of times art, if you the more perfect it is sometimes in some ways, the less people will remember it. Not sure how to figure. If you have something like photorealism, people remember skill. People remember the incredible, just the painstaking, the technique right there. You're really kind of focusing on the artist's technique. So maybe the hand of the master is eliminated in photorealism. I mean, you're not going to see anything. Man, this is frustrating. Like, your photorealism, you're definitely not going to see anything unless you really know what to look for. You're not going to see something that will give away the artist. Right, after all, in photorealism, there's nothing personal. That's kind of the whole point. The paintings are so completely impersonal. So what I'm going to do here is just draw a very simplified, as if you were just holding this fist closed, which you wouldn't be, and try and adjust proportions on that. Let's see, build out slowly. Again, I think I'm probably still breaking my own rule. Okay, so that's starting to get there. This is tough. I will acknowledge that. Getting this right, getting this to look right, it's kind of odd. It's an unusual. And maybe I should try the hand in a different position, posed differently. I'll stick with this for now. So let's see. Again, I'm going to keep this pretty loose and undefined. But yeah. Yeah, I guess just one thing. Yeah, by the way, his arm is still... Yeah, see, one problem I'm having here is I can tell I'm trying to fit this in the panel. And honestly, that's just not working so great. So, I don't know. If I ever print this in, actual, you can hold it in your hands form. If I ever produce it that way, it's a big issue I'd have to deal with. Right, fitting this into the into the actual image. So, man. Yeah, so this is kind of I hate dealing with the I don't know if that made any difference with tell with it. I don't know if that made there we are, we're still wiggling around. All right, you paste, stay there, don't move. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, I hope this is. Man, a lot of stuff going on. All right, back to actually drawing again. Thank God. So. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think of his forearm. All right. Yeah, I said this was going to be easy, but did I say this was going to be easy? Because I shouldn't have said this was going to be easy. Man, maddening. All right, so forearm probably needs to come out to here. Yeah, again, I think this is just I think this is just kind of a basic problem that you hit. You're trying to cram what's it's a really exciting, it's a really fun pose, or very dynamic, really showing the figure in action, really showing the figure in motion, prepared to hurl the spear. And I think a really lot of what's getting to me is I'm very conscious of I need to fit this into this very particular space. So what we're going to do is try and forget about that space as much as possible. And just going to draw it out. Again, very loose. So something like that. All right, I'm going to cut this short. Not cut it short, but I'm going to cut this off in a second. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing me agonize about this. That's what no doubt that's what you came for. So, all right. it's one of those stupid things about art is a lot of times you just end up coming back to like what you tried, what you had in the first place, and you've gotten nowhere. But you practice drawing, right? You've gotten to do more drawing, you've gotten to improve in that way, I hope. So, yeah. Okay. All right, so for the moment, I'm going to leave this at that. And yeah, I don't like that though. All right. All right, I'll come back tomorrow for more on this at any rate. All right, thanks for checking out the video. I'm tempted just to stay here and keep going, keep flailing away until I actually absolutely have it, which, yeah, sometimes you have to do. Sometimes you really just have to brute force it. Sometimes that works. I guess it's like video games in that way. Like sometimes, sometimes you can just brute force the boss. In other words, just go back and get killed over and over and over. Dark Souls style, and just do it again and again and again until you get it. That's one way. That's one approach. Okay, so I think it looks too stiff. All right, maybe I should talk about something else while I'm trying to do this. Let me say one thing. Just kind of general advice or something. I'm not really sure, which seems ridiculous for this channel. But yeah, man, keep watching my videos, watch my videos incessantly, check out my content incessantly. But wow, the internet is so bad. The internet is just so god awful now. I can't. Still plenty of great things about it, but wow, there's so much bad. It is just, yeah, go outside and read a book. And that's not even like go outside and read a book, or go outside and play, go outside and meet girls, go outside and do things. And that's not because those are great things to do, and you should totally do those things. But I'm also just saying that because, geez, Lord, the internet's just terrible now. It's just, the good stuff does not. Does the good stuff outweigh the bad? I mean, I really hope the good stuff outweighs the bad, but the bad stuff has become so hard to freaking avoid. Man, I'm fed up. I kind of think I kind of kidded myself for a long time, and yeah, like like my Twitter feed or my Blue Sky or whatever, like mine is like a lot of it's art and old comic books. It's like it's pretty goofy, silly. It's not real serious, not real heavy. It's really pretty goofy. Very chill stuff, or it was. But yeah, more and more I just find, man, especially the politics stuff, I find just getting in, like, wow, I just hate it. And I don't have the patience to, mess around with the algorithm until I get it just the way I want, and I can't imagine why I would do that anyway. Wow, yeah, just go outside, read a book, talk to girls, talk to boys, because, like, man, it reminds me, like, when I was a kid, like, you went outside because, like, man, home is so freaking boring. There was not much to do. Monopoly is not a great board game, especially for kids, and the hand looks awful. So, all right, give up. But yeah, please, begging you, go outside. I will see you there because, man, I've pretty much, except for shopping stuff I have to do, or looking at the weather, wow, I have pretty much trashed the internet. There are times when I say things like that, and it's not really true. There are times when I say, like, I didn't see that, but yeah, I really did see that thing, or something ridiculous like that. I was too ashamed to admit that I saw that thing. Now, no, I'm not kidding. Like, it's like when someone says, "Hey, did you see this god-awful reality TV show?" and you saw it, but you're like, "No, I didn't see that. I mean, I'm just too ashamed to admit that you've seen it, but you really did." Like I was saying, But wow, yeah, with the internet now, it's just, it's I can't deal, and that's being honest, and I'm not kidding. Yeah, there's some great, and there's some. It's fun to listen to audiobooks, and it's great to listen to certain podcasts and things like that. And yeah, definitely for shopping stuff, it's great. But man, yeah, it is not. It's not fun. It is not fun anymore. Um, if it ever was, it's just gone. So, which just seems like a shame. I can remember where the internet was, it felt pretty new and fun. Wow, grabbed all of that. What if I can erase that? Can I not? Okay. That actually might have worked out kind of well. All right, I don't know, fam. What do you think? You guys gotta let me know if you think that works. If you think that's good enough. Anyway, good enough for right now. Also, I will. Yeah. Also, I would also just say, like, taking a break and coming back to something that can be a really awesome idea as well. I'm gonna have to figure out. Okay, that explains it. All right, so we're going to merge this layer down. Booyah. And again, more sketchy, all the goofy, sketchy stuff, because it seems to work, at least for me. All right, cool. Yeah, all right, I've gone seriously over. So yeah, thanks for checking it out. Yeah, have a great day. Thanks for checking this out. Comments, suggestions, criticism, I don't know, whatever. Just saying hey in the comments or whatever. It's all good. All right, have a great night, everyone.